we have a quadratic equation, and specifically in front of x squared is a 1x squared. So we're going to use completing the square. And if you want to complete the square, the first step is you want to make a little bit of space. In other words, take this number here and we're going to move it to the other side. So I'll do that by subtracting 29 from both sides. And now I have a little bit of space here. Next, we want to fill the space, and in order to fill the space, we're going to use the formula b divided by 2 squared. This is ax squared plus bx. So the b here is negative 12. So we're going to take negative 12 divided by 2 and square it. So taking negative 12 divided by 2, I get negative 6. And then negative 6 times negative 6 is 36. So I want to put in that space plus 36. But remember, whatever you do to one side, you need to do to the other. So I'm going to put the plus 36 here. And I'm going to put a plus 36 on the other side. What we've accomplished is when we go to factor the left side, it's going to be a perfect square. And you can factor using your regular factoring methods. And I went ahead and just simplified really quick to continue. Negative 29 and 36 make 7. So I'm going to factor that, thinking of two numbers that multiply together to get 36, but add up to negative 12. Perfect, negative 6 and negative 6. So I have just simplified, and then I'm going to factor. And when I go to factor this, it is x minus 6 times x minus 6. But we want to go ahead and rewrite that as a perfect square. And I get x minus 6 squared. Now, a little bit of a shortcut. You can factor using your normal methods, but it's not a coincidence that whatever the number was before you square it is the same as this number. So if you're on this line right here, you could just write x in parentheses squared, and the number that you're going to put here is the number it was before you square it. But if you don't remember that, then you can just factor it your normal way. Okay, now that I have a perfect square, if I undo the order of operations to finish solving, I'm going to undo squaring, and what undoes squaring is taking a square root. So I'm taking the square root of both sides. But don't forget that when you take the square root of both sides, you get both positive and negative. So this ends up being, so far, x minus 6 is equal to both positive root 7 and negative root 7. If it's easier for you, you could rewrite this as two separate equations. One of them, x minus 6 equals positive root 7, and x minus 6 equals negative root 7. And then you would add 6 to both sides. But I'm not going to write them separately. I'm just going to go ahead and add 6 to both sides. I've got missing little part there. Okay, so if I add 6 to both sides, I end up with x is equal to 6 plus root 7 and 6 minus root 7. This is just the shorthand notation for that. But if you want to, you could just write 6 plus root 7 comma 6 minus root 7.